What's going on, guys? Check out this brand new office setup. And then the boom, the lights, the camera, the pan, the boom. What's going on, guys? For those of you who are new here, my name is Kevin Jabal. Now this is the latest and greatest of office setups. First one was back when I was a resident surgeon. Second one was last year. I had a large bedroom and I had both my bed and my desk there. Not ideal for a reason we're gonna get to shortly. And now we have this. This is the third iteration, the latest and greatest, and I love this space. Link to all items mentioned in this video are of course down in the description below. It's a separate office, separate from my bedroom. And the reason that's so important to me is I have sleep onset insomnia. My mind tends to race at night, as I'm sure many of yours do as well. And I really find that separating out work from sleep, work from play, does wonders in allowing me to compartmentalize what I'm trying to focus on, what I'm trying to do in that moment. So when I'm in this room, I'm only working here. I'm not messing around. I'm not doing any shenanigans. And when I'm in the bedroom, I'm not working. So if you find yourself in a fortunate situation of having that optionality of saying, hey, I can have a separate office from my bedroom, then definitely take advantage. It's something I've only recently been able to do, but it's definitely a game changer. Now, you came here for an office tour, and that's what we're gonna give you. This is super streamlined and optimized for maximum productivity, because I know you guys care about productivity and studying and efficiency. So any office and desk setup, of course, needs to start with the desk. We got an Ikea Gurton tabletop, and I got these 4 Ikea fixed legs. They were like $4 a pop. But if you saw my old office tour videos, you'll notice that I enjoy standing at a standing desk. So sitting all the time and feeling so contracted and bad posture, because it's hard to be like super, good posture while you're sitting for extended periods of time. That started weighing on me. I started having more aches and pains. I didn't like that. So I went on Amazon. I found this motorized base. It was like maybe 250 bucks, link down below. But this motorized base has been pretty awesome. You can set a preset for your sitting height, for your standing height. It has those memory functions. And then with a press of a button, it goes to the height that you want, whether that's standing or sitting. My initial hesitation with going to a motorized standing desk was twofold. Number one, I was a broke student, I couldn't afford it, or at least I thought I couldn't. I mean, $250 is pretty affordable, but I feel like back then they were all like $700, $1,000. Motorized standing desks were pretty expensive when they first came out. And the second reason was I figured if I had the option of sitting, I would just be sitting way too much, because that's the easier out, right? If you want to incentivize good behavior, which is standing in this situation, then you want to make sitting more difficult. But from actually using this setup, that's not the case. But I've been switching between standing and sitting actually pretty frequently, several times a day. And a big part of that is obviously the friction is very low to go between the two. You just have that button. And anytime my body starts feeling a little bit off, I just switch positions, and that keeps me feeling a lot better. As for the computer, got this brand new 14-inch MacBook Pro, and this is a huge, massive upgrade from my 16-inch. I'm actually pretty used to larger laptops. I haven't used a smaller one like this in several years, but I'm digging it. It's a lot easier to travel with, it's much more portable, and because it has the M1 Apple chip rather than the old Intel chips, it's so much faster, so much more powerful, great battery life. Definitely recommend it if you guys are considering it. The greatest thing about that laptop, they brought back the SD card. Hallelujah. Again, not having to get one of those dongles every time I need to upload these videos to YouTube is actually a pretty big deal. It's pretty great. Now, the really cool thing about this setup is I have my MacBook Pro connected to this LG monitor. This is a 34-inch, I believe. Link down below. But the really cool thing is that it has a single USB-C port. Now, that gives power to my MacBook, so I don't have to ever plug in the actual power adapter that came with my laptop. I can just charge it through the USB-C cable. It also gives display, and it hooks up to my USB hub that's underneath the desk, all from a single cable. So I'm a sucker for the neat, tidy, minimalist, super elegant solutions, and that just like checks all the boxes. And then that USB hub connects to all the various peripherals on my desk and throughout the room, including this, which is my Schiit Asgard and Modius stack. It's a amp and DAC combo, which results in beautiful music. I'm actually really excited about the audio setup in this room now. It sounds so good. So from there, I either am listening on my Sennheiser HD600 headphones, which I've had for 12 years, but they're just so good. I don't feel a need to upgrade them. I've tried other headphones. Nothing really sounds quite like them. They are highly regarded amongst audiophiles, which I am not. And they've been around for like 20 plus years. There's a reason they're so good. They're very accurate and neutral though, so if you like really loud, thumpy bass, probably not for you. And if I don't want to wear headphones, then I have these Emotiva Airmotiv 4 studio monitors. And these have a very similar sound signature to the HD600 headphones. They're very balanced, very neutral, and they have these ribbon tweeters rather than the normal conical ones. And that just makes the highs sound so crispy and clean. Because of the era that we live in with the pandemic and whatnot, we're doing all these Zoom meetings, so I of course had to upgrade my FaceTime camera on the laptop, which is still garbage in case you guys were wondering if they've ever improved that. It doesn't seem like it. I got this Logitech webcam, gets the job done, it's pretty good. Now as for cable management underneath the desk, I'm pretty happy with it. In the real world, when you walk into the room and when you sit at the desk, you never see any cables. But as you can see from these side shots, there are some cables visible in the far corner of the desk. And the reason is there has to be some slack with going from standing to sitting. And I also have some cables in the back where I want to be able to pull them out and then, connect an iPhone or whatever to my computer. Underneath the desk, we have a anti-fatigue mat, just a standing mat. It's a little padded surface so that you don't get as tired just standing for extended periods of time. And I always keep 2 balls down there. We got the Lacrosse ball and the Rubz ball. And I will put weight and roll on one foot and then the other. And that's essentially self-myofascial release, self-massage. It's good for your plantar fascia to release that, increases your ankle mobility, and it just feels good. The other cool thing is when I go from sitting to standing, this monitor has this arm, but that not only has a sleeve so you can hide all your cables back there, which I think is super neat and tidy, but it also allows you to shift and move the monitor up, down, front, back, and it'll just stay there based on what's most ergonomic. So every time I stand up, I pull the monitor up as well. And then when I sit down, I can put it back at a more reasonable height. So to the right of the desk, we have an Alex drawer unit, also from Ikea, the top of which I use as my charging station, if you will. So this is actually pretty clever. I have this little wireless charging pad in the corner. And the reason it's in that corner is if I put my phone there, it is out of sight when I'm sitting at my desk and getting work done. And as I've talked about many times on this channel and Med School Insiders, you want to minimize distractions while you're working, and your phone is your biggest distraction. If it is in your line of sight, it is much more likely to distract you. So by having it on that charging station, which is lower than the desk, you can't actually see it when you're working at the desk. There are some other cables that snake throughout the room, all from that single USB hub. Can you tell I really like this USB hub and the single USB plug solution? I think it's so cool. So the USB hub connects to the printer, which is hidden behind the Alex unit, and then also snakes around to my Blue Yeti mic. Blue Yeti mic is on the opposite side of the room, and I have it on a speaker stand as well as with a Motorized reflection shield behind it and a pop filter just to get the best quality audio. This is actually where I do every single Med School Insiders voiceover. The reason I have it on this stand is a few years ago I found that when I'm standing and speaking and like my chest is more open and I can be more animated, I like the way I talk more than if I'm sitting and a little bit more contracted. And I felt the voiceover just sounded more natural, more like me, especially at the beginning, because when you first start doing voiceovers or you first start doing YouTube, it's a lot harder to feel natural on camera or when you're reading a script. So I needed every little bit I could to sound more animated or more lively or more natural and less like monotone reading script.
I will destroy humans.
And with my Med School Insiders recording setup, I use the Philips Fidelio X2 headphones, which are pretty good, but not as good as the HD600s. As for the chair, this thing is extremely comfortable. I love this chair. I did so much research. I was trying out all these different chairs and the lumbar adjustability and the height, and like chairs were getting expensive and complicated. And then I figured, you know what, let me just go in store to try a chair in person, because some of the things I ordered online, they weren't that good. I had to assemble them, disassemble them, whole pain in the butt, right? I tried this on and I'm like, oh my God, this thing fits me like a glove, which is a good thing because it has no adjustability built in. And for 110 bucks, I was like, hold up, I must be missing something. This is too cheap. The truth is that I just got lucky. It fits my body type really well. I'm 6'1", I have long legs, my torso isn't that long. So I'm not gonna necessarily recommend this chair. I mean, if it fits for your body type as well, then fantastic. I love this thing, it's so good. But the key lesson here is to go to a store and actually try out chairs rather than spending all this time researching which chair is best online, because all our bodies are different, right? I wasted so much time researching when I should have just gone to the store, gotten this, and be done with it. My favorite new addition to the office is actually these 2 hourglasses. One is for 30 minutes, one is for 5 minutes. And yes, Pomodoro is actually 25 and 5, but this is close enough. Now you may be thinking, why not just use an app on your phone or on your computer? And I've been doing that for years. But the issue with that is if your phone or computer is inherently distracting, now you need to interact with that distracting device every time to enable, reset, disable your Pomodoro timer. With these hourglasses, it's silent and they're just like nice to look at. They're like decoration, but maybe it's also just my grandpa energy, let's be real. I like analog things. I drive stick shift rather than automatic. I do wet shaving, the old school, you know, how your grandpa used to shave rather than the multi-cartridge things. I like tea. I just got that grandpa energy, okay? Oh, and then also if your Pomodoro session is up, but you're like in the zone and just vibing with it, then you don't have a alarm that's gonna break you out of focus, right? The sand just stops, but then you don't necessarily notice it. And this to me overall is just such a more pleasant and pleasing experience. But my real favorite part of the room is this shelving unit in the back, also from Ikea. If you can't already tell, I really like Ikea. And if you also can't tell, I really like cars. So I have all these 1/18th scale model cars up there. The Ayrton Senna helmet, of course, in the center, greatest F1 driver of all time. And as for the cars, we got the Toyota GT86, which is my baby. That's a smaller version of the car that I own. We got the Toyota 2000 GT, which is arguably one of the most beautiful cars ever made. And I spent a pretty penny on that model from Auto Art. Still waiting on a Carrera GT, and I'm trying to find a Lexus LFA model as well. But this little car exhibit in the background, both here and downstairs in my studio, they're gonna be changing. We're gonna be like changing the cars up. Season to season, new cars get released, new model cars go up. I'm gonna have fun with it. Maybe I should get a new GR86 too. Oh, how could I forget? Plants. So I have 2 plants in this room and they are both fake because I can't be bothered to even water plants. I guess I'm just that much about optimization.
Is that my excuse?
Yeah, let's go with that. So even though fake plants don't look as nice as real plants, they do still have the psychological benefits of being more relaxing and peaceful. You feel like you're in nature somewhat. Now, lastly, things I would change or do differently. Number 1, I want to add some art, some color, some pop to this room because I have nothing on the walls really. It feels almost like sterile, like a hospital. Number 2, I wish I got a motorized sit-stand desk sooner. It's been such a game changer in the best way possible. And number 3, good audio is so key. I had a budget DAC amp combo in the past, and upgrading to this one has definitely made a very noticeable difference, and I'm enjoying my music a lot more. And number 3, I wish I got a bigger desk. I tend to keep it pretty clutter-free and clean, but then when I do want to have a second laptop on the side, or maybe my iPad and I'm drawing some stuff, there doesn't feel like there is enough space, and then I want to have my water out of the way, and you know, maybe a little bit of a longer desk would have been nice. All right, that's my office. Thanks for joining me, guys. If you enjoyed this video, you're gonna enjoy that one or this one. Much love, and I'll see you guys there.